popular support for more immigration has cratered. Politicians are taking note. Popular support for higher immigration levels in Canada has collapsed after years of record growth, forcing politicians across party lines to rethink long-standing policies and confront growing public frustration. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. Canada's large immigrant population has long been regarded as a defining strength of the country, shaping its identity as one of the most welcoming nations in the world. For decades, politicians celebrated high immigration levels as both an economic necessity and a moral obligation. Yet, new data suggests that this consensus has fractured. After years of record-breaking growth, public opinion has shifted dramatically, creating what many observers describe as a seismic change in how Canadians view the future of immigration. Immigration, once untouchable in politics, now under fire. For much of the last quarter-century, immigration was considered a political third rail. Few elected officials, whether Liberal, Conservative, or New Democrat, publicly questioned the system or its outcomes. Today, however, that political caution is disappearing. Leaders across the political spectrum are re-evaluating Canada's immigration model, reflecting the growing discontent of ordinary citizens. Carney, Poilievre, and Eby sound the alarm. At the Liberal caucus retreat in Edmonton, Prime Minister Mark Carney signaled a significant shift, calling recent levels unsustainable and pledging a more focused immigration strategy. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre went further, demanding very hard caps, denouncing the Liberals for admitting too many, too quickly, and urging the complete abolition of the temporary foreign worker program. Even British Columbia Premier David Eby, a New Democrat, blamed Ottawa's approach for straining homeless shelters and food banks. Together, these statements show that immigration reform is no longer a peripheral debate, it is at the center of Canadian politics. Public opinion turns sharply negative. Recent surveys explain why politicians are pivoting. A Nanos research poll found nearly three-quarters of Canadians now support reducing the number of newcomers. Abacus data confirmed this trend, with immigration rising into the top 3 national priorities. The Environics Institute added historical context. 6 in 10 Canadians now say immigration levels are too high, a stunning 31-point swing in only 3 years, the steepest since polling began in 1977. David Coletto of Abacus Data called the shift whiplash, noting how Canada went from welcoming Syrian refugees a decade ago to today's climate of skepticism. Young Canadians, burdened by housing costs and rising unemployment, are particularly likely to demand an end to temporary foreign worker programs. The pandemic-era surge. The roots of this backlash lie in policies introduced during and after the COVID-19 crisis. To address labor shortages, the Trudeau government loosened restrictions on non-permanent residents, leading to an unprecedented surge in international students and temporary workers. By 2023, Canada hosted 1 million active study permit holders. Combined with high levels of permanent immigration, the country's population expanded by roughly 1 million annually for 3 consecutive years, growth rates almost unheard of in advanced economies. Experts point to mismanagement. Michal Skuterud, an economist at the University of Waterloo, argues that the government mishandled immigration policy and damaged what was once a broad public consensus. Canadians aren't xenophobic, he explained. They're frustrated because the system wasn't managed properly. He placed much of the blame on the Trudeau government but also criticized Conservatives for staying silent until public opinion forced their hand. Recent policy corrections. Under pressure, the Liberals have introduced caps on international student permits, tightened the TFW program, and lowered the permanent resident admissions target from 500,000 to 395,000. Statistics Canada even reported near-zero population growth in early 2025, a dramatic reversal from the runaway growth of prior years. But critics argue these changes came too late, after trust had already eroded. Conservatives positioned themselves for reform. Conservative MP Michelle Rempel-Garner said her party plans to make immigration central to its fall campaign messaging. She described current levels as too high and criticized the TFW program for creating an indentured underclass instead of prioritizing Canadian workers. The Conservatives, she said, will propose reforms to restore balance and faith in the immigration system. Even within the Liberal caucus, there are calls for change. Former Immigration Minister Mark Miller admitted the TFW program has problems, including fraud, and said industry has grown addicted to temporary workers. Pushback against scapegoating migrants. Not everyone agrees that immigration is the root cause of Canada's challenges. Karen Koch of the Migrant Workers Alliance for Change argued that immigrants are being unfairly blamed for housing shortages and inflation. She said the real culprits are corporate landlords, major grocery chains, and exploitative employers. She also dismissed claims that TFWs take jobs away from students, noting most temporary workers are employed in agriculture, construction, and trucking, industries far removed from typical student employment. Conclusion: a crossroads for Canada's immigration future. Canada's immigration system stands at a crossroads. Once a near-sacred pillar of national policy, it is now under intense scrutiny. The rapid population surge of recent years has left Canadians struggling with housing affordability, healthcare backlogs, and job insecurity. As leaders recalibrate their positions, Canada faces a defining test: whether it can restore balance in its immigration system without losing its reputation as one of the world's most welcoming nations. That is all for today, in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.